Hi everybody, it's Jeff Schofield here. We're up on the balcony for the briefing and we're delighted to be joined by J Sisk and Barry Murphy, the plant manager for said company. Barry, tell me a little bit about J Sisk business in Ireland, who you're here with today and why you've come to the show.
Thanks, Jeff. It's great to be here this morning. J Sisk & Son is one of the biggest contractors in Ireland, and we've multiple sites around the country, from data and life science to residential and commercial. And we're here today to support a lot of our suppliers that we've dealt with over the years, that have good suppliers that we've known for 20, 30 years, and see some new suppliers and see what's on offer and what new technology and advancements there is in any of the technology and machinery and anything else that's out there.
And who are you here with today? Who else is joining you?
We've a few teams there from the plant department. Claude and Tom, and then two purchasing from Fionn and Jerry are here as well. So there's a few Sisk personnel wandering around the
I know, talking to you just on the balcony before this conversation, you're saying you recognise the vast majority of people that are on the floor, and you and Tom and your team are going to get out and go around and see the guys after lunch.
Oh yeah, we'll be here for most of the day. I'd say we'd be lucky to see half of the people now that are here. There's a great turnout. The place is full, and there's a lot of good suppliers here with a lot of equipment. It's amazing to see. It's good little venue to have everybody in.
That's a great point. So let's talk a little bit about you now and the business. You're the plant manager for the business. So asset management is really what your job entails. So tell us a little bit about how Sisk, with the fleet that you have to manage, what are your day-to-day challenges?
Connectivity. Modern plant, from the smallest thing to the largest machine that we have, everything is connected now, and ensuring that all of our staff and our fitters are all on board with it. It makes life easier, it makes maintenance easier, monitoring, finding out locations and how it's been used, and actually making sure it's been used in the right manner. Telematics and data is massive at the moment. Anything from a small heater in an office all the way up to a tower crane has massive amounts of data, and how you interpret it it's how you make sure it's used correctly and utilised correctly. If it's used right, our fitters, of course, 4 or 5 years ago when I took over as the plant manager and Tom Grant as my director, the first thing we wanted to do was make sure out with the old and in with the new, and we wanted to kind of be the vanguard of what's out there next in the country and in Europe. So the main thing was making sure everybody in our team was on board with it. The fitters have been able to really come on board now, and you can get proper telematics for servicing and how the machine has been used on a telehandler or generators, or if a generator's been overloaded running an office or on a tower crane, and make sure it's not running 24 hours and cut down on servicing. So it's great. It's really been a big benefit of how we do things.
So you're a huge advocate of the use of data in the business, and I think the point you make there as well about what you've seen in the last sort of 5 to 7 years, I think you're referring to there, the cultural shift, and we'll talk more about culture in a minute. But where do you see the next 5 years? We've had this change at such a pace in the last 5 years. What's the next stepping point? Where are we heading from an asset management and data integration perspective?
You can see AI is starting to come into it, and how AI is going to interpret it. It's going to be a big part of it. It's going to come a lot quicker, I think, than most people are going to be ready for. It's going to be massive, really. Like even recently deploying hybrid systems for what would traditionally be like a tower crane running on a 200 kVA generator, chugging away all day, getting the data, seeing the data, and realizing that it doesn't necessarily need that going all day. So the addition of a battery unit that's being monitored by AI and making sure the levels are corrected, it's just massively beneficial.
So this AI is going to speed up exponentially then, isn't it, the data that we're going to be looking at to make this industry smarter, safer, and more sustainable?
Oh, 100%. And you don't need someone looking at a screen all day. Literally, you're just leave it do its job, and the AI will let you know when something's wrong, if it flags any kind of surges or drops. Same as with telehandlers and cranes. It'll let you know now if there's a problem that's going to occur before it occurs, and it's about prevention, especially with preventative maintenance. It's the same as you can do analytics now on your heating on building sites. Traditionally, your compounds will be running 24 hours, and now you can actually see where your peaks and troughs are, and you can make sure that, like, integration of a battery, smart battery with an AI, can make sure power distribution is really being looked after and run correctly, so you're not wasting anything.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great point, and as we've been talking to our exhibitors, we just had a great conversation with ThinkHire, who are now part of your supply chain, as many others are. I think they're a great example of the innovation that's at work in the industry to drive all what you've said there. So a little bit perhaps about Sisk's own sustainability drive. What are you doing to decarbonise, and what's your journey to carbon neutrality?
At the minute, it's really cutting down on wasteful running of engines, be it from a machine or a generator or anything like that. We started off years ago from basics, from smart lighting, LEDs with PIRs, better heating in units, integration of hybrid systems, so you're not leaving generators running unnecessarily all day. Your battery is going to run, and the Genny only comes on and runs at an optimum level for just the right amount of time to bring that battery back up. So cutting down on fuel is massive, and we've had great performance with the hybrid systems, cutting out fuel. We use HVO for the last number of years. It's been mandated in Sisk, so reduction of carbon with us has been phenomenal over the last few years. And then adding HVO with a hybrid system, your generator might, instead of being on 24 hours, it might only be on for 4 hours in the day. So you can see you're not wasting any more fuel, especially with the cost of fuel now at the minute, with everything going on around the world between Ukraine and Iran and Israel. Prices are going up, so the more you can reduce, the better it is. You'll get an initial shock when you see the price of things. You'll think that is way more expensive than you need to be paying, but when you actually do the balances with the cost of fuel over the period of its running, it's massive savings.
So you'd say take a long-term view on HVO, because we had a conversation just with CERTA, who were extolling the virtues of that, and talking to the floor and to our audience as well about how the adoption of HVO. So Sisk have got a total adoption of HVO in vehicles and in plant?
Across the board. You won't see any other fuel on our sites. Rarely. You might see a bit of two-stroke or something for consoles, but across the board, no, it's HVO and it's mandated. CERTA have been a great supplier of ours, and at Metro countrywide we've been able to get a good supply. But yes, there was an initial scare with machinery and generators and engines at the start, but Sisk pretty much said, look, we'll stand over it, and it's paid dividends now, and most manufacturers, if not all of them, their engines are now on board for the use of HVO, and it's proved far cleaner for everybody across the board. You have less carbon on site, less smoke. It's a far better unit to use. Yeah.
Now, really interesting, and I suppose just in a few final questions here, that the investment that the government is pledging now into infrastructure in this country over the next 10 years is nothing short of unbelievable. It's significant, isn't it? And clearly J Sisk are going to be working hard to get a good share of that. In all what we've discussed, and in the way that the world is going to change, would J Sisk be looking for all their supply chain of contractors to be compliant with all the things that you've just spoken about today?
Oh, 100%. Sisk, we want everybody to come on the journey with us, pretty much. It's vital that everybody stays on this journey, regardless of what's happening around the world. It does work. It's important that everybody tries to stay ahead of it, and a lot of the new contracts will be, you will be kind of mandated to know your carbon emissions levels. It's coming. You're going to have to get on board with it one way or another. I wouldn't be afraid of it. I'd embrace the technology. I'd embrace HVO where you can use it. Everything does work, and it does actually reduce carbon dramatically. It will start coming more in a lot of the newer contracts, especially with life science data. There's a lot of civils work going to be coming. Like if Metro comes online, you're going to have to be kind of at the forefront of what's out there. It's no longer just going to be the traditional old diesel engine just chugging away. You're going to have something meaner, cleaner and better basically.
And this is going to grow fast, isn't it? Your existing supply chain will no doubt, go with you on this journey, if you pardon the expression, but there'll be lots of others that will be given an opportunity here, won't they, to join your supply chain with these stipulations. Let's just talk a little bit, if I may, just in conclusion. Do you feel at Sisk that you have obligation might not be the right word, but you should be sharing more with the industry, that you want to be able to help the industry to come at the same pace that you're coming at?
Oh, 100%. We've never made it a secret, anything we do. We do have a lot of contractors do reach out to us for advice, and we're always looking for advice. So be it from AI integration for safety, for spotters on machinery, hybrid systems, use of HVO. We've had a lot of suppliers, a lot of contractors, and what they might class as competitors with Sisk actually approach us for advice. We've never been shy about talking about it. We like to talk about it, and we like to actually help people and bring it on. It helps everybody if everybody comes on the journey. It's not something that just one company should be doing. Originally we did it because we felt it was the right thing to do at the time. We didn't have anybody mandating that it should be done. We went out and found what we thought was the best, the meanest, the cleanest, the safest way of doing things. And it's worked for us, and people see what we're doing, and I think they respect it, and they've been coming back looking for advice. And it's worked for a lot more people. So we can see a lot of rollouts. What we've started 4 or 5 years ago has now started to come online with other companies, and it's great to see.
I mean, it's a really refreshing sort of view, that, isn't it? It's not the norm, is it, in that regard? So it's great to see that that's happening within your business. And let's just finish on culture, if you like, because Sisk, no doubt, as the rest of the contractor community, the rest of your supply chain there's a skills gap. It's difficult to find the right people. So how is the culture within your business helping you to retain and attract people into your organisation?
That was one of the key things we did look at years ago when we took over. The staff retention was hard. Typical builder would be, you're looking at a metal box in the middle of a field, the wind's blowing through the window, there's no heating, you've got newer, younger people coming out of college, you're not going to talk them into sitting in a box in the middle of a field. So that's why originally we started upgrading, and from the simplest things to better insulated offices and better insulated windows, better heating systems. But it's also really, I think the government should be really hitting home with a lot of younger people at the minute that construction is not what it was. It's not I don't mean to say that, sorry, but it's not like you'd see a person in a digger anymore just pulling levers. The diggers and machinery now you nearly need a computer degree, and when they jump into the cockpit of some of them, you don't know what you're looking at. It's not like it was, and I think it should be really driven home to the younger generation that construction isn't what it was. No one's going to expect you to be sitting in a hole with a shovel digging a ditch. It's not like that anymore, and you're not going to be just sitting in a box with the wind blowing through it. Everything now has to be brought up to a very high standard. Staff have to be happy, comfortable. Sisk have, I think, really done well in that, and we're starting you're not losing as many staff as you were, and younger people are coming into the industry and they're a lot more happy, and they see it. I think they can see it across the board. It's not what it was, definitely not.
Well, they're the two pillars, aren't they, to be able to attract and to be able to retain in the way that the industry is changing. We've all got a role to play, and as you say there, perhaps government can look to do more as well. So listen, let's leave it there. That was such a fascinating insight into your business, your culture, the way that you're supporting the whole industry. So thank you very, very much for joining us at HIREland.
Thanks for having me. It's good.